Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone, and peace and blessings be multiplied on all you brethren preaching this word in all sincerity and in truth, to the hopeful elect, 144,000, and to the rest of the men, women, and children, the Lord will have mercy on. Shalom. It's the brother Dama Gabar here with another lesson, Lord willing and edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I was reading this article right here, and it just further shows you how, like it says the title, not by accident, California sheriff blasts radical progressive for explosive crime, a crisis. And you see, it's all an agenda of these elites to bring further destabilization here to Babylon the Great so that they could bring in this NWO, you know? And this is why you're seeing them bringing a lot of these migrants from across the border, basically to further destabilize Babylon the Great. And they're passing all these these so-called laws on crime to where they're going to make crime be, something that these criminals are not going to be penalized for. They're going to make it to where more and more criminal elements, more and more violent crimes, more and more thefts, more and more just destabilization to happen in this society so that they can ultimately bring the order out of the chaos, man. And you got this California sheriff who's calling it out. And he's saying, look, this is an agenda, man. This shit is absolutely don't make any sense the way that, gruesome Newsom is passing these different laws, knowing that they're causing more and more crime to happen. They're letting more criminal elements out on the streets. And they're basically saying that, they're not holding these criminals accountable for their fucking crimes, man. They're letting more and more criminals and violent criminals out of the police. They're turning felonies into misdemeanors, and they're just making a crime to be just something that, it just be something just to do. There's not going to be no real penalty or no real punishment. So therefore, these criminals are going to continue to do their dirt and wickedness, especially if they know there's not going to be any real punishment or just a slap on the wrist for doing it. I'll be back out on the streets tomorrow type of shit. And it just further shows you that, hey, the cat is out of the bag on Esau. He's being exposed fully, and it's just time for Babylon the Great to just get flushed down the toilet, man. All right. And you're going to see more and more of this. That's why you had that instance with those migrants over there, and a lot of these places where these migrants are, Texas, Chicago, Chicago, hey, those migrants are committing all type of fucking crimes, man. Because a lot of those guys are coming in here from, these different countries. A lot of them were criminals in their country, murderers, rapists, murderers, and many gang members, and they're coming in here unchecked, and it's all part of the agenda. And it's only going to get worse. Wait till shit really gets bad to where a lot of these migrants, a lot of these, criminal, even your average everyday American criminal, when all hell really breaks loose and it's just going to be lawlessness out here, a lot of them are going to be used to add to the total destabilization of this shithole known as America, man. All right, so I'm gonna read some of this article. I just got a couple of precepts, but it just shows you that, look, man, even these these sheriffs and these police, they're finally realizing what the hell is really going on, and now they're speaking out against it because it's getting ridiculous and it's only going to get worse. It says, we are here today because California public safety is in crisis. Crime is steadily on the rise, and our public safety policy is one of the worst, if not the worst, in the nation. You see, out here in California, San Francisco, down there in LA, those cities are they're just hellholes, man. They're, there's just crime riddled, crime filled, just nastiness going on in all these different countries, and they're doing nothing about it. The drug use, the homelessness, the crime, all those broad daylight, brazen, just these little youth just run into the store and just steal a bunch of shit. They ain't even worried about going to prison because they know if they do get caught, they're just going to book them and just let them right out. If they are stealing shit that's less than $1,000, they'll just slap them with a misdemeanor and then just release them back out on the streets. Give them a court date they know they ain't going to show up to because there's no real punishment for committing these crimes. So therefore, they're going to continue to do these things, man. These people out here have no respect for law and order out here because, they know that there's no penalty for their actions. So therefore, they're going to continue to do these things. That's just human nature. Even if you got a little kid and he knows that if he does something bad, you're just going to threaten him. You're just going to pretend like you're going to do something. You don't do something, then he's just going to continue to to behave in that type of manner because he knows there's no real punishment coming his way. See, it says the Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco said last week while joining lawmakers in Sacramento in support of several new bills dealing with public safety. Bianco emphasized, "I want to make this clear, and I want there to be no mistake in what I'm saying. This is not by accident," you see? And this is what they're coming to the realization of. This shit is being done intentionally. The Governor Newsom is part of the WEF. He's part of the, he's down with the agenda. He was one of those junior members of the Klaus Schwab, I forgot what you call that. Oh, junior future leaders of the World Conference. All right. He's one of the goons of Klaus Schwab, one of the cronies of the elites. So therefore, he's on board with the agenda. You know, a lot of these governors, a lot of these Democratic states, a lot of these politicians, they're all on board with the agenda of, bringing in this NWO. It says this driving force in our crisis is a radical progressive agenda fraudulently called criminal justice reform. This is nothing short of a sick and twisted social experiment. See, like I said, it's all part of the destabilization of Babylon the Great so that they can bring in this new world order. And part of them doing that is you need destabilization. You need crime. You need this society as a whole to just crumble. And they're doing that through the financial sector, through the political sector, through, the public sectors. All aspects of this society as we know it is on the attack and is being destabilized because these elites ultimately have an agenda. You see, and these guys are starting to figure the shit out, And like I said, this is why you see cops all over the country just throwing in their badges. You got some states and counties to where the police force, there's only like 10 cops in that police force. And you know that they can't patrol and watch over that whole city. They got to have days off. They're being overworked or it's just not worth it because when they're doing their jobs, they're being penalized and they're being called it's like the cops are being the criminals and the criminals are being looked at as the good guys. So they're just like, fuck it. It's not even worth it. I'll just quit, man. It says this is nothing short of a sick and twisted social experiment where law enforcement is the bad guy and criminals are somehow victims of society and not responsible for their actions, you see? And this is part of the agenda because they want to destabilize this place. They want these criminals to be, pampered and, not dealt with harshly as they should be. So therefore, it's going to explain it. It says this radical agenda began with the passage of AB 109, the so-called Public Safety Realignment Act. The state government failed to take responsibility for prison overcrowding or their failure to build more prisons and instead forced county jails to house state inmates while simultaneously releasing thousands of felons early, you see? And they knew what they was doing by putting these fucking criminals back on the streets. All right? Because, jail is supposed to be some place that rehabilitates you. You're supposed to go to jail and learn from your mistakes, but that don't happen here in Babylon the Great. These niggas go to jail and they learn how to be bigger criminals. They come out, with nothing to go back to. No training, no job training, no purpose, no nothing. They just go back on there and they're going to eventually just get back into the same line of business that they were in, when they come out. It says, this has pushed our county jails to a near collapse and caused the early release of countless criminals. The release of thousands of countless criminals, you see? And that's exactly what these people are doing. And it's all being done intentionally. It says, Bianco continued, thousands upon thousands of criminals are being released from custody early. Crime is increasing and our government is closing prisons instead of building new ones. It defies common sense. In 2014, a complete fraud was perpetrated in California. The so-called Safe Streets and Safe Schools Initiative, Prop 47, changed many felons to misdemeanors, you see? And that's what they're doing. They're changing felonies to misdemeanors and putting hardened criminals and rapists and pedophiles and thieves and violent criminals back on the streets early, man. And they know that, a lot of these prisons are overcrowded. So therefore, if they do commit a crime, it's going to be the same shit. I'm going to get locked up for doing something and they're going to let me right back out. And what is that going to do? That causes crime to increase. That causes all type of destabilization and, thefts and rapes and murders and assaults and all type of shit to countlessly happen. A lot of these dudes are, drug abusers, drug users, all type of shit. Just the criminal element is all back on the streets everywhere, just looking for shit to get into, and there's nothing being done about it. Because this is all part of the agenda. Let me get this, man. All right, and all these stupid ass, where is it? Yeah, AB 109, the so-called Public Safety Realignment Act, is all a fraud and it's all smoke and mirrors, all right? And this is Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their praise and that they may rob the fatherless. And that's what's happening. Because who's ultimately being affected by all of these stupid and so-called laws, which are not being really worth any goddamn thing, and by them, causing all these criminals to be back on the streets. Ultimately, the public, the average citizen, is being affected by these, because that's who these criminals and that's who these individuals prey on. Businesses take hits. Businesses, communities, neighborhoods, just average people are, the ones that are affected by all of this shit. And it's all by these unrighteous decrees. It's causing more and more of a criminal element, destabilization of, counties and states. Not that we really give a shit, because we know Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed anyway. But we're just highlighting this to show you the wickedness of Esau, Edom, and the wickedness of this society out here, And that's why this world ultimately needs Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, to where true judgment and true justice will be established in the earth. Because if this was a true and righteous society, a lot of these criminals and these perpetrators or whatever you call them, hey, they will be dealt with in a righteous society, man. All right. You wouldn't be having all these goddamn prisons because certain laws and certain judgments need to be met out on these people. And a lot of these people, honestly, shouldn't even be breathing, man. A lot of these guys who are in the criminal, a lot of these murderers and these violent criminal offenders, it should be a righteous, order in place to where, that it should be such fear on people. They know that if they do particular things, then certain things will happen. That's why there's no crime in like Dubai and a lot of those, Arabic and Islamic countries, man. You go to like Dubai and Abu Dhabi and, what's the other one? Saudi Arabia. They don't have no fucking crime out there because they don't fuck around with the criminal element. And ultimately, everybody there has something to do. You don't have homelessness there because everything is, taken care of in a better way than it does here in Babylon the Great. And that's why, this place is through. It's just, it's finished, man. But it's just showing you just the wickedness of these politicians and these leaders and the whole agenda of destabilizing this country. All right. And this is all part of these unrighteous decrees. And that's why the scripture says, woe unto them that do this, because it's only ultimately going to come back to bite, the power to be in the ass, man. All right. It says thousands upon thousands of criminals are being released from custody early. Crime is increasing, and our governor is closing prisons instead of building new ones. It defies common sense. In 2014, a complete fraud was perpetrated in California. The so-called Safe Streets and Safe Schools Initiative, Prop 47, changed many felonies to misdemeanors. You see, that's an unrighteous decree. How the hell can you change felonies to a misdemeanor? That's basically not holding these criminals accountable. Now, we know that their justice system is flawed and, the prison, the court system is bullshit, but this is just blatantly showing you that, goddamn, like, really? You're really going to change felonies into misdemeanors? You might as well just don't even have any misdemeanors, might as well just do away with the whole fucking thing. It says basically legalize drug use and increase the amount of petty theft to nearly 1,000. You see? So you can go steal something if it's not worth up to $1,000. This would be just a misdemeanor. They just let you right out of jail. And that's why you see all these kids running into all these stores, which I believe a lot of that shit is being orchestrated. A lot of that shit is controlled by, these alphabet group. These, 3-letter word groups and shit like that, because they know if you can get 50 kids to run into a high fashion designer store or to a business and they're all stealing shit, if you catch one and he only has about $500 worth of merchandise you caught him stealing, it's just a misdemeanor. You just let him right out of jail. but it's just going to further add into the criminal element. And he's going to get out of jail. He's going to go tell the little niggas in the block, on the neighborhood, look, nigga, we can do it again. All they're going to do is give you a misdemeanor so we can just go steal some shit. Hey, one of us might get caught, but if we don't, hey, we can come up. And this becomes constant crime. That's why you see all this shit in Walmart and in Walgreens, all these different businesses locking up every single piece of fucking merchandise because the criminal element is just completely out of control. You see? A lot of them, a lot of them little demons need to be shot down dead in the streets, man, or locked up in some serious time. But you see, they're not doing that because it's all part of the agenda. And that's why you see, man, I challenge you, go look up Portland, Oregon, man. I think it's Portland, where they legalize drugs. Look at the state of that fucking city. That's straight up Zombieville, USA, man. Homelessness is all over the place. It's like third world diseases over there in certain parts of Portland because they've legalized drug use. Complete and utterly just destroyed those towns, man. And that's what they want to happen in a lot of these major cities and states because they want to destabilize and, bring that order out of the chaos, man. And like I said, wait till these fucking migrants stop receiving all these goodies and all the little benefits. And when shit gets bad and they ain't got nowhere to go, wait till you see how bad they're going to tear this shit up, man. It's going to be off the chain here. But that's what these devils want. It says in 2016, another lie was perpetrated on voters with the naming and wording of Prop 57, tricking voters into approving the release of thousands of violent criminals into our streets and neighborhoods. This is why we are here. Everyone knows Prop 47 and 57 are disasters. See, that's those unrighteous decrees. And they know what they was writing into those laws when they presented them to the people. But they're not going to tell you that. It says, and yet Governor Newsom adamantly tout it as a success, and lawmakers continue to refuse to fix their mistake and the problems that they have created. Once crimes are no longer crimes, it allows Governor Nome and Attorney General Bond to cite completely false data points to support their failures. Californians are now suffering the consequence of a failed social agenda, he said. You see? And it wasn't failed, it was a success because that was the whole point of it. It says the reality is that criminal justice reforms are an epic failure by Democrats. Now more and more state leaders are pushing to overhaul these disastrous ballot measures that have transformed some cities in the state into third world-like conditions. And they're not going to, this is the guy right here, but they're not going to, fix these things because this is what they ultimately want. And anybody that's going to try to stop it, you're going to be met with force. You're going to be labeled. You're going to be called out. You're going to be, dealt with properly, And this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 1. It says a wise judge will instruct his people. You see? So obviously we're not dealing with a wise judge in all these different democratic states. And this is why they want to keep Joe Biden in office. This is why they don't want Trump to come back in, because they don't want him to come in and to, fix all of these intentional problems that they're creating. You see, they want destabilization. They want crime. They want to release these prisoners. Remember, we've been prophesying this for a long time that, eventually a day is going to come to where a lot of these criminals and these prisoners, they're going to be released, in a huge fashion, when all hell breaks loose, when, the financial collapse comes, when they do the cyber attack. That shit might just, shut down the prisons and open up all the damn gates. And then what you think you're going to have going on out here? All right. It says, in the government of a prudent man is world order. So obviously we're not under a wise judge. We're under a foolish and a destructive judge. It says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. See, and that's why there's such a huge criminal element here in Babylon the Great, because a lot of these people were under the vibration of the damn devil Esau and, this and wickedness. Verse 3, an unwise king destroyeth his people. And how does an unwise king destroy his people? By passing, unrighteous decrees and allowing the criminal element to, run amok without any severe and drastic punishment, man. If your citizens don't have any fear of your law enforcement or being punished for their crimes, then, hey, that's a failed state. Only more and more crime is going to continue, and the lack of respect for the authority is going to be shown here. And this is why you have these niggas, out there in Oakland and the Bay doing those goddamn, they take over the city, the streets, and be burning out and just doing all type of shit, doing donuts in the road, and, all type of wickedness takes place here. So obviously you're under an unwise king. It says, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be habited. And that's why, this is all just signs that America is further going down the drain, and that, this place is about to be destroyed, man. Because, the fabric of things that should be keeping this city afloat is totally destroyed, man. Just it starts at home. Look at how the family structure here in Babylon the Great is, and that trickles down to the citizens, to the people, to society. It's just completely out of order, and that's why this place is ultimately on its way out, man. It says the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable, which is Yahushua. And that's what this whole planet needs, is Yahushua to return and to establish his government and his authority in true righteousness and justice in this earth. All right. It says, in the hand of God is the prosperity of man, and upon the persons of the scribe shall he lay his honor. Right. What is the scribe? Somebody that's writing things down. Somebody, that's like a record keeper, that's writing things, that's, writing laws, that's keeping things in order. You don't have that here. It's all destroyed and warped and stupid, But let me jump down to this point right here. This is verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. See, and that's what you're about to see, when Yahushua returns, because that's all that takes place here in Babylon the Great. It's unrighteous dealings, injuries, riches gotten by deceit, unrighteous decrees, fraud, corruption, all type of bullshit takes place in this society. And that's why it's a failed society, and it's crumbling, and it's about to be destroyed, man. All right. And like that guy, the main guy said, this is an agenda, man. This is being done on purpose. This is not, the people in charge are not that goddamn stupid, but it's all part of the agenda. This is Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. Yeah, you can't hide behind in the shadows anymore. You can't hide behind all of this bullshit, because now people are putting the pieces together. Even the California sheriff is calling out your wickedness and blasting the powers that be, as this whole wickedness is being an agenda. And it is an agenda. They're intentionally destabilizing all of these blue states, and eventually all of Babylon the Great, because this is what the powers that be want. It says his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. You see? But the main point being is that, Esau is being exposed, People are putting the pieces together. Everybody is, ultimately calling you out as being that unwise king, like I just read in Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter. All right. And now they're trying to come and fix it and try to reverse it. But, honestly, it's just too late, man. Hey, this place is circling the drain. The handwriting is on the wall for this place, and it just needs to fall and to crumble, man. And a lot of you people just need to be at peace and understand that this is all the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and just let Yahweh Bashem Yahushai cook and, let these things take place, because it is going to have an end. It's going to end exactly how it needs to go out. And, until the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is established here on this earth. So with that, I'm going to close it there. Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. To the next one, Shalom.